Hello everyone, this is your host, Gemma Putty, bringing health and wellness conversations from North Idaho and across this region. I am so excited to chat with the entrepreneurs, creatives, and believers as we journey together to connect more deeply to ourselves, our earth, and our communities. Cheers to shining bright and supporting local. For this interview, I am talking with Jessica Freeborn of Freeborn Family Farms, a family-owned and operated herbal remedies company. Their mission is to harness the healing properties found only in nature within each of their products and deliver them from their family's hearts to your families. So welcome, Jessica. Thank you so much for joining me.
It is so great to be here, Gemma. Thank you so much for having me. What a delight to connect on this digital realm.
Yeah, it's so great to see you. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's dive straight into your story to creating Freeborn Family Farms.
Yeah, it is kind of a very long journey, and it almost is like our dreams are finally coming to reality. My husband and I, about 16 years ago, we met working at a garden center, and we knew that we always wanted to work with plants. And then my journey kind of led me into the supplement, holistic health food store realm. And during college, I worked at a supplement in a supplement department at a health food store under Jason's mom. And I just fell in love with working with the bulk herbs and teas. I was in charge of the bulk section in that department. And I just started studying herbs at that time and helping customers and help heal my gut. And I have kind of a long healing journey. And then my husband and I, we love to go explore together. And he would point out the botanical names of a lot of the plants that were growing in the region. And I was just flabbergasted because that's what I was selling as a supplement or as a tincture. And to see it growing and where it grows, it was just such an incredible epiphany. And it's been that was our dream. We just always wanted to have our own herbal remedies business. And then about 4 years ago, we moved here to North Idaho and realized that all of our favorite herbs, all of our favorite botanicals, as well as mushrooms, are growing here. We just have such an incredible diverse forest. And it is just such a gift to us. It's so empowering to be able to go out into the local forest and gather medicine and food. And with that gift comes a responsibility of earth stewardship. So it is sustainable, and so we can source it for generations to come. And I read a really incredible book I highly recommend called Braiding Sweetgrass.
Okay.
And the lady that wrote it, she is a poet, but also a scientist, a botanist. Okay. And the way that she describes earth stewardship and reclaiming the land and living off of the land is that we have to encourage people to fall in love with the land again. Yeah. And we won't take care of something if we don't love it.
Right.
And it's just such a beautiful gift to be able to take in the medicine, not only through making the herbal remedies, but just being out with the plants. You're right. Taking in their essential oils and their vibrancy. And that has been a big part of my healing journey. And this is a family business, Freeborn Family Farms. So our kids are right there with us. It's kind of our entrepreneurial business. And we also are starting a forest school, which I'm sure we'll get into. And so a big part of our business is not only to provide, the best local healing herbal remedies, but also the education. And for those that want to endeavor on making their own herbal remedies, we can help them do it sustainably and the best way possible, the way that nature intended.
I love that so much. And the theme that I keep seeing so much in a couple of my interviews has been we're disconnected from our earth. We're also disconnected from our bodies. Like we're feeding it all sorts of stuff. It's not even nutrition, that's disconnected us from like our gut talking to us, our skin telling us things. And the same, like you're saying with our planet, like getting out there and respecting it and getting to know it and treating it so kindly. So I love so much that you're doing both of those. You're helping people reconnect to the earth and reconnect to their own bodies and how to heal it in such a holistic way.
Yes, and that just has been my divine purpose in life, and I'm really owning the term medicine woman.
Okay.
And I don't come from a lineage of them to my knowledge, but I just feel like it's a part of me. Like I'm almost relearning this wisdom. And I see it in the children. It's a part of our collective consciousness, this wisdom. It's our divine right to be stewards of the earth.
Right.
And we just, like you were saying, unfortunately, a lot of us will become disconnected through our just living in a city and being in the concrete jungle. And it's so important to get out beyond the neon lights and connect to the natural kingdom. And that's where a lot of healing can begin. And then just connecting the community as well with it. You know, the whole term survival of the fittest, it's actually not survival of the fittest individual, but survival of the fittest community. And we see that in the natural kingdom with the mushrooms and the mycelium being the network that helps the trees absorb the nutrients from the soil, and then the other plants that support and help grow the soil, the nutrient dense soil, and break down rocks and sand. And it's just such a symbiotic, beautiful relationship. And so I love what you're doing here. You're connecting these amazing community members that are basing their business on, you know, sustainability and living our best, being the most vibrant we can be. And we're stronger together as a vibrant community.
I love that so much. Well, and passions and your mission, like obviously your mission is to educate and to provide resources and provide an alternative to just the Western norms, right? You can tell like you've got a fire in you to do that. Like you said, it's your purpose. And I'm curious, with your own health story, I mean, you've always, as you kind of said, you've always been interested in the bulk herbs and that, but did that ignite a different kind of passion, like having to heal yourself?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I actually almost died at a very young age. I had a near death experience when I was living in Guatemala. I was 19 years old and I went to a language immersion class, and I actually got to go to a medicinal herbal garden when I was there. And it was so interesting to see these different plants and what they were calling them. And they actually tasted differently because of the really volcanic ash rich soil in that part of the globe. So it's so important. I think the best way to get your wild medicine is in your own terrain. And that makes sense because you're taking on all of the antibodies and all of the healing properties of that plant that had to thrive in your own environment where you are trying to thrive. So anyways, I digress. In Guatemala, I ended up eating something. And before I went to Guatemala, my whole life, I had gut problems.
Mm-hmm.
And as a teenager, I was put on birth control for acne.
Right.
And then I was put on acne medication, which is like an antibiotic. So my whole microbiome was very imbalanced, and the good bacteria, I'm sure, was wiped out from overuse of antibiotics. I also was prone to sinus infections. I probably had some food allergies, and I also lived in an agricultural area that probably was spraying a lot of chemicals. Pesticides are linked to seasonal allergies. A lot of people don't realize that connection, but it often is the chemicals, the glyphosate and some of those pesticides that are getting sprayed on the crops. And so when I was in Guatemala, the Guatemalan bacteria that I consumed through the food I was eating probably went, oh my gosh, open house in Jessica's gut, and overtook. And that caused a lot of gastrointestinal distress. So I went and was tested for a parasite, and sure enough, it said E. coli y otras bacterias, and I took an over-the-counter anti-parasitic medication. Well, I misread the instructions that were in Spanish, and I took too much, and it pretty much burned a hole in my intestines. And that's when I was in such excruciating pain, I just tapped out. And I remember being in the corner and looking down at my own body, and I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not in my body. I'm not ready to die yet. And so I was alone in my apartment, and I just prayed to God that if he spares me, that I will do good for him. And I'm not ready to go. I don't want to die alone in a foreign country. And I miss my family so much. And I just was really fighting for my life that night. And when I got back to the States, I had so much pain. I either had pain from hunger or pain from eating. And sometimes water was even hard to digest. And I was a college student under a lot of stress. And I just knew that this is not the way to live, that I need to take health into my own hands. I went to so many gastrointestinal doctors, specialists. They kept putting me on harsher parasitic medication or giardia treatment, plus, these harsh steroids to try to calm the gut. And it was just making me worse. It was making me more sick. So I decided I'm going to take health into my own hands. And I was working in the supplement department, and I just started reading. And that's when I discovered fermented foods. My acupuncturist at the time, she suggested I make my own sauerkraut. So I made my own sauerkraut, and it was like dormant taste buds awoke. And it was just, I was missing those good bacteria from food. And then I started, using the healing herbs, the soothing gut herbs like chamomile and marshmallow, and regrowing my gut. And L-glutamine is an amino acid that's the main lining of our gut, and it's found in cabbage juice or sauerkraut. And I also was taking a supplement that had the L-glutamine and marshmallow, and that's when I really started feeling well. And we take health for granted. Health is wealth. So I just wanted to share it with others, my healing journey and helping others, because so many of my customers at the health food store, they were having gut problems. And I realized that I was spared that night in Guatemala to do this, to help heal the planet and the people. And I'm actually grateful for that experience because it led me on this healing journey.
How powerful. What a powerful story. That's amazing. Yeah. And there's nothing like having your own experience to just ignite that fire and to help you like just zone in on what matters in life, right? Like you are zoned very much in on that. And would you like to talk a little bit about your next steps for the farm? We talked about this on our last call, but you're excited you found property and you'll be moving to a more permanent location, right?
Yes. So this is really a dream come true because we've always been, students of the forest. I like to say the forest teaches us so much, and we've been reading a lot of books on food forestry, or forest farming is another concept, and it goes hand in hand with permaculture practices, sustainability, and working with your local terrain. So instead of just clear cutting a field and growing crops in rows, this is keeping the trees intact and growing a diverse amount of medicine and food. And traditionally, this is how we've been farmers. There's evidence in the Amazon of indigenous cultures, thousands of years ago. They were actually forest farming. They would practice burning and control burning in certain areas to get that nitrogen in the soil. And they would transplant certain shrubs and trees and work with their local terrain rather than clear cutting and doing mono agriculture. So it's a really ancient concept that really has inspired us. And we are going to start it's near Spirit Lake. It's 10 acres with a spring and a creek. And we're going to be farming forest, and we're going to work with goats and ducks, and we're going to have bees and grow all of the herbal remedies. The elderberry is our first product that we made, the elderberry elixir. And we are just so excited to have our own elderberry grove, and it's going to be amazing. And we'll invite community members out to learn about food forestry and do our herb walks and our tea talks. So it's pretty exciting to have this living workshop and to help inspire others do it on as small scale as possible.
I just love it so much. How amazing that you found this 10 acres and it has, you said this, the creek and the stream and the elderberry, like meant to be, right? Completely.
It really was meant to be. It was just the way that I really feel like we manifested this. We've been dreaming about this for so many years, and I've been journaling about it and making dream boards of how it would look, and it was a gift for us to do that. And the lady we bought it from is just such a pioneer spirit, and I can't wait to interview her and hear her story, because it's going to be completely off-grid, an off-grid homestead. And she lived out there for 36 years without electricity. And I'm hearing these amazing stories of just her herbal ways, her herbal pioneering ways. Her husband broke his leg as they were snowshoeing back. They would snowshoe down the mountain in the wintertime, and as they were returning, he broke his leg, and she got him in the log cabin and applied a comfrey poultice of the comfrey she grows in the garden and reset his bone, and he never went to the hospital, and she healed his broken leg.
Amazing.
So it's just so amazing and empowering to have these herbs when you can't get to the hospital or when you are stranded. It's very empowering to know these ancient healing techniques.
Amazing. Well, let's get into some of your remedies. First of all, how do you even decide what to create?
Yeah, because it's just the possibilities are endless. We're always having fun with different, recipes and experimenting with different tea blends and tinctures and elixirs. And we decided we got to start with one product. What are we going to start with? And we decided to bring to market and on our website the elderberry elixir. And the reason being is that my youngest son, Jared, he as a baby was prone to getting febrile seizures. It was the scariest moment of my life where I thought he was dying. When he got a really high temperature, he started having a seizure, and he's had a couple of other episodes when he gets a cold and flu and then a fever. Unfortunately, he was prone to seizures, which children can outgrow, but I just didn't want to risk anymore. So I researched what would be the best herbal remedy to give him every day to strengthen his immune system so he's not going to get as sick. Yeah. And elderberry kept coming up, and the particular blend of herbs is intentional in the elderberry elixir. So I found a recipe with cinnamon, ginger, and clove with the black elderberry. And those herbs synergistically work together as being antiviral, antibacterial, chock full of nutrients, and a gentle way to strengthen your immune system, but also to train it. So the anthocyanins, those dark pigments that are in the blue or black elderberry, which grows native to North Idaho and pretty much all over the world. It's very abundant. It's a wonderful medicine that grows, so abundantly. But the anthocyanins, those dark pigments, they actually will go into the bloodstream and stain foreign invaders, any viruses or bacteria that are in our bloodstream. And that signals to the macrophages, which are like the street sweepers of our immune system, to go in and go, oh, we need to eradicate those bad guys, and they sweep them out. So it trains your immune system to recognize the bad guys. And then on top of that, there's a ton of vitamin C and quercetin. As we know, those are important for our whole immune system, our gut health, our creating white blood cells. And so I started making this syrup for my son and for the whole family. And I realized, wow, we haven't been sick since taking this. And I started offering it to family and friends, and that's how it all began.
Oh, amazing. So do you take it daily?
Yeah, we take it daily as a preventative, just a tablespoon for adults, a teaspoon for kids ages 7 and under. And when we feel like we've been exposed, we take about a tablespoon every 2 hours. And it really does speed up the healing process, but also can act as a cold and flu preventative.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. So, and people can purchase that on your website, right? You do sell it to the masses. Yeah.
sell it to the masses. We sell it in glass jars at 8-ounce size, and it tastes delicious. Kids love it. I have a bunch of recipes on my website for how you can integrate it into your foods or drinks, or it's just delicious right off of the spoon or the shot glass.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that how you've created a lot of your remedies that you have is based off of a need for your own family?
Exactly. Yeah. I consider myself a family herbalist. Well, now I'm more like a community herbalist because I'm reaching out to other people. But, I have very humble beginnings, and I didn't have a lot of money to help heal and nourish my family. So I would go, how could I make this?
Yeah.
If there was a supplement or a blend at the health food store, I would just love to tinker around in the kitchen and make my own herbal remedies. It's always been kind of just an instinctual thing. I remember as a little kid pretending like I was a Native American, and I would go and harvest the hibiscus nectar and make certain things as a child, and it's just so fun. It's like utilizing all the elements of the earth. You have the fire to heat it up, and you have the water or some liquid medium base, and then you have the earth elements, and it's just so fun, and it is the best medicine. It
Yeah.
always is the most healing.
Yeah. No, totally. I love it. Because how old are your boys?
I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old,
So they
and
would
they're
probably like
so
love it, huh?
yes. Oh, they're so funny because they'll rattle off botanical names, the Latin names of the plants as we're hiking, and really impressing whoever we're with. And they're just little herbalists, and they love it. And this is definitely, my husband is more of the green thumb, and he just, I don't know how he memorizes all of the Latin names of all kinds of plants that he grows. So yeah, it's just been really fun. And I also love to make things homemade, including cooking for my family. And there's this Korean term, we'll have to look it up. I forget what it's called, but it defines the taste of love and handcrafted things that are infused with love and intention. And
Yeah.
there's actually a flavor like an umami that you can taste, herbal, things that are made by human hands rather than mechanical or
Right.
massively large, on a conveyor belt type of supplements. And I've been in the supplement and holistic health industry for, so this is kind of my career. And there's definitely a difference in small scale handcrafted herbal remedies versus full from all across the globe.
Well, and the intention that goes into it, right? Is that's the love
Yes.
piece that you're saying, like the intention and the passion from someone like such as yourself that is creating it. There's no part of like just trying to make money and just trying to accomplish some random, like you are passionate about healing your own family and spreading that to other families in your community. What a beautiful thing.
It's so empowering to hear the feedback. Oh, my granddaughter usually always gets sick. She goes to daycare and she doesn't get sick anymore since taking it. And that is just the most gratifying feeling ever. And it really is the gift of love.
Yeah. So do you source all of the herbs yourself that you put into your products?
Yes. Yeah. So they're either sustainably wild crafted. My mom has 5 acres that we started our first forest farm, but I wouldn't even say start it. We just are kind of stewards of it because all of the herbs that we use, they grow wild here in North Idaho. And it's just so fun to go out and forage together as a family. And we dehydrate them all ourselves with care. And you can see the difference in the vibrancy of our dried herbs versus bulk that
Yeah.
has been sitting around for who knows how long, fumigated in a warehouse. There's a huge life force and the vitality difference in a wild crafted herb that has been preserved correctly
Right.
versus something that's just been, massively grown and stored for a long time.
Will you mention some of the ones, just some of the local herbs? People like myself, where I'm like, what are some of the local ones that I don't even know are out there?
Oh, yeah. So yarrow leaf and flower grows so abundantly. And that's one of my favorite herbs. It is so healing. In fact, during the Civil War, soldiers would pack the leaves in their pockets to staunch wounds. It's a coagulant, so it will stop bleeding right away. And it's also antibacterial and antimicrobial. So, it's also a fever reducer. So when my family does get a fever, we always add that to our teas. It's a bitter as well, so it's good for gut health. It's so versatile and it grows so abundantly and it smells so fragrant. It's one of the herbs I put in our healing sack. So that's a favorite local herb. St. John's wort is also another favorite herb. It grows so invasively that you got to be careful where you harvest it because they will spray it with pesticides in certain public areas. So just be aware of where you are harvesting the St. John's wort. But St. John's wort is an incredible antibacterial. It also is good for pain, nerve pain, topically for bug bites or for a cut or a wound. Internal, it acts like an antidepressant.
Oh,
so I like to refer to it as nature's Prozac. So it's a great winter blues tea or tonic or tincture.
yeah, fascinating. I love it that this is all just in our own backyard.
Yeah, there's tons of medicinal trees and hundreds. It's so amazing. And a lot of the wild herbs that grow around here, they can replace some of the more common herbs. So for example, devil's club that grows here in the creeks and the marshy areas, that is similar to devil's claw. It's really great for arthritis and pain.
Okay.
It also is a great expectorant for cold and flu, a bronchial cough.
Interesting. Will you talk a little bit more about your family's just like daily herbal? Obviously, you have your elderberry, but just on like when people are thinking, okay, what do I just start to incorporate into my day for a healthier way of living? What does your family do?
So I really am into the ceremony of tea,
Yeah.
of tea time. And I feel like in our busy, modern, everyday life, we don't take the time to make our cup of tea. We put a lot of importance to our morning cup of coffee, but the actual art of tea ceremony has been lost. And that's what I love to share with my students and with my family daily, our daily tea. So you can actually see kind of some of our herbs and jars behind me,
Yeah.
but we have this built-in medicine chest. And throughout the year, we forage for wild herbs or we're growing the herbs that are favorite herbs in our garden. And we dry them and put them in jars for our everyday tea.
Wow.
So every morning I boil some water for our French press coffee. And sometimes we like to add wild mushrooms into our morning cup of joe, such as lion's mane. Lion's mane is so great for cognition and for focus and memory, short-term memory. And then we'll just pick whatever herb we're drawn to for that day. Red clover is one of our everyday herbs. It's so nutritive. I like to refer to it as the multi-mineral herb supplement. Wow. So it's got a ton of zinc and phosphorus and magnesium. It's also really nourishing for women's health, for hormonal support. It's also very cleansing for the blood. It's a blood purifier. So that's kind of one of our everyday herbs. And stinging nettle as well, which grows wild here, is I like to refer to as a food medicine. So it's also chock full of calcium and minerals. A lot of phytonutrients are found in nettle. Plus, it's an antihistamine. So it's really great for seasonal allergies and post-nasal drip. It helps dry out mucus.
Fascinating. I love it all. You are such a wealth of knowledge. Maybe this is a good segue into your herb walks in your forest school where people can come and like meet you in person and be on the land and learn from you even more that way.
Yeah, I've been doing the herb walks and tea talks. That's what I call them. I've been doing that for a few years now, and that is my happy place. Being out on the trail with people and connecting my community to the wild herbs that grow here. And the questions that I get asked are just so incredible. And I take all ages, and I realize that we learn the best with children and adults and elders, all ages together. There's this beautiful synchronicity going on of of really reconnecting to the earth and learning about these herbs. So yeah, if you subscribe to my website, I will announce the coming herb walks, and I try to do them year round. There's actually, believe it or not, wild medicine and food available in the winter time. And it's really great to see the cycle of seasons and the different plants that come up during those seasons, and how to harvest them and when to harvest them, and to do it with care and consciousness and sustainability. So that's been kind of an ongoing informal gathering that folks can sign up for. And then I am starting an official forest school for children that is going to be starting in April, and that's for ages 3 to 13. And I just love working with the kids and doing herbal crafts and getting them out in nature, unplugged. They just love it. Their imaginations run wild. And my next project is going to be writing some books. So I'm also a writer, and I realize I'm always referencing so many different books. And the reason being, we are so blessed to live here in North Idaho because we have 3 different microclimates all coming together. So we have the Rocky Mountains, medicinal plants, the Pacific Northwest, as well as Boreal Northern, all coming together here in this little heart.
Right.
And so it's so diverse, and there's so many different wild plant books that I'm referencing that I would love to try to put it all together to honor the plants that are all here in our terrain. So that's a big project. And I also will be working on some children's books and foraging and forest school books of different activities and ideas that families can do together outside.
You're on fire. This is so exciting. I'm so excited to see you. I've been following you for a while, but you're so full of life and all of these ideas and passion. And I love the education piece. I love it because it's one thing to go to the farmer's market and buy our herbs and like mentally know that it's something but to learn it and to hear what you're saying about the powers of Yarrow and St. John's Wort, and that you can use them instead of drugs, Western, whatever, right? It's just this beautiful part of the world that we live in already. And it's also got all of these healing remedies. Like, I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much. It really just feels like it's time. Now is really the time to take health into our own hands.
For sure.
And we can prevent getting very ill. COVID and everything that's been going on, we don't have to be disempowered and to be the victim. We can utilize all of these incredible plants that I like to refer to as wild plants as God's medicine, because they were put on this earth where they were supposed to grow to help heal the people. And that is our God-given right. And I just love to empower people to take health into their own hands. And for my own healing journey, the herbs have been the most healing, and the drugs that were given to me were making me more sick. And I hear that from so many people, and it breaks my heart how the pharmaceutical industry ends up creating a different illness because of the side effects. And we don't have to live that way, and we can really truly heal ourselves. And that's how we're really going to be the change of the world, is if we can heal ourselves. And we have these incredible herbal allies. The herbs are our friends. They really each have their own personality, and they always are there. They're tried and true friend that can help heal us. And it's just so abundant here in Idaho. We're just so fortunate to have these old growth forests. And if we fall in love with the forest and being outside, then we can be the best stewards, and we can conserve these wild places so our future generations can enjoy them.
Oh, I love it so much. Well said. I did want to ask you specifically with herbs and children, is there anything that people need to be cautious about? Is it just a dosing thing, or is there certain herbs that you avoid with children specifically?
Yeah, with children, I like to, definitely do smaller doses, small dilutions. And what I like to tell families is to do an allergy test with each herb. So you can take the fresh herb or dried, if you only have dried, and put it on the child's back of their hand or inner arm
Okay.
and do a patch test to see if there's any allergic reaction. And you can do that with teas, tinctures, balms, salves, ointments. So that's a great way for an allergy test. And, with children, I like to just do more of the nourishing food herbs versus some of the more stimulating herbs.
Okay.
So chamomile is a wonderful herb for children. It was just, I think, made for children. And stinging nettle is a really wonderful healing herb. And I generally will do more teas with children versus tincture because of the alcohol.
Okay.
If you are to do a tincture, you want to cook off the alcohol and add it to hot water and let that alcohol cook off, or do a glycerite extract for
Okay.
children.
Perfect.
Another great way to get the herbs into children is in the bath. So I actually like to do tub teas. So I'll take bulk herbs like chamomile and calendula, which is very soothing, lavender that is very calming and sedative, and put it in a sachet and right in the tub. And you could add some sea salt in that as well. And that's a great way to get in your herbs, or you could even do a foot soak.
Love it. Oh, amazing. Yes. I love, well, the bath times, what a fun way to add it in there. I think that's, super fun. Nice. Awesome. Well, Jessica, what's the best way for people to find you?
Great. So my website is freebornfamilyfarms.com.
Okay.
You can subscribe on there, and I blog and send out different herbal write-ups on there. And I will be starting a YouTube channel. I actually have a YouTube channel, just got to upload some content. So I'm going to be documenting on YouTube our off-grid homestead projects and our herb walks and our forest school. So that is the best way, is through the website, or you can email me directly at freebornfamilyfarms@gmail.com. And I just could talk about herbs all day. So please, I love when people reach out. It's just so great to connect.
Yeah. Are you at any of the farmers markets?
I am going to be at the Hayden Farmers Market this year.
Perfect.
Which is very exciting. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. We can almost feel it, right? Like farmers market season is almost here. Yes.
I'm so excited. Yeah. I love farmers market, and we have a good one. And that's another big step for the business.
Oh, I love it. Yay. Well, I always like to end with, who are just a couple of people in this area that inspire you to live vibrantly?
Oh gosh, my mom, I have to give a shout out to my mom. She lives down the street from me, and she has always been my biggest fan and biggest cheerleader. And she's a realtor, and she's just such a people person. She's just so loving and bubbly. And I feel like I have learned that gift from her, and we love to sing together. So, we're thinking about starting a caroling group next winter and going caroling and spreading the love and Christmas cheer that way. So big shout out to my mom. And also Pilgrim's Market, where I work. I just love what we do. I love that we support local small businesses, and that's our forefront. And they have really helped me start my business and supported me with Freeborn Family Farms. So I'm so grateful for Joe Hamilton, the store owner, and Pilgrim's Market. And also just all of the homesteaders and herbalists in our community. We have so many incredible families here that just all want to support one another. And I just really feel like I was meant to live here. And we have such incredible entrepreneurs and small businesses that are just doing it right. Yeah. So I just try to support local as much as possible.
I love that. Well said. Yes. I think before we even hit record, we were just beaming and gushing about how lucky we are and how many just amazing people are in this community that are really believing and doing things right and nurturing themselves and the earth and our community. It's so exciting.
It's so exciting. And we're just realizing, a lot of the systems are broken. The education system, healthcare, our food system, it all is just so not the way that we're meant to live. And we're taking it into our own hands and creating solutions on a local level that is going to benefit our children. And it's just so incredible to be a part of this movement.
It really is. Yes, it really is. And on that note, this was so fun. So good to talk to you. It's such a pleasure to see you. And I'm so excited you'll be at the farmers market. I can see you weekly.
Yes. Yay. Well, thank you so much, Gemma, for this opportunity. It was just such a delight.
Thank you for joining Jessica and me today. As you could tell, Jessica truly is our local medicine lady. Her passion and excitement for the healing power of our local herbs is contagious, and her wisdom in healing herself and nurturing a healthy family is life-changing. I love that she's empowering other people's healing journeys too, through herbs and education. As I continue this journey of discovery and holistic living, I hope you join me as I get to know more awesome, inspiring people in this inland west region. I would greatly appreciate it if you would share and like the episode so more people can be inspired. And remember, you can always watch these conversations on my YouTube channel. I'm also incredibly excited to be taking on one-on-one coaching clients. If you are craving to break through into a new way of thinking, feeling, and living in the world, and are interested in taking that journey with me, please visit my website, gemmaputty.com, or direct message me through any one of my channels. Sending all the love, light, and vibrancy. Till next time.